All right, so here we were able to register, well, not really register. We sent over the information over to the server. The server came back saying, echoed the information for the user back to us. But if we are here in the profile, I mean, right now it's coming back this register. But notice if I refresh the profile, there's no information here that lets me know who I am currently logged in as. Right? There's no information whatsoever. I'm not passing it in the URL. I'm not passing it through Redux. I'm not passing any which way. So I need the server to be able to answer this question. I need to be able to go to the server and say, hey, who's currently logged in? Is anybody logged in? So how do we do that? So to do that, for the server to be able to remember who's logged in, right? What we're going to do is that on the server side, in the controller, we're going to say that not only do I want the user that's coming from the client as they register, I also want an HTTP session past me, an HTTP session. I can't spell it. Session. There we go. And this session is very similar to what we did in Node.js, right? This object session is unique to the person who is currently accessing the server, right? The client sends the browser sends a cookie, and the cookie is used to key off and retrieve for you the session object that belongs to you, to the person who has that unique cookie, right? If someone else comes in, they'll get a different cookie. This will be an entirely new session object, okay? So what we're going to do with this session is that we're going to store this user. We're going to say sessions. We can say set attribute. We can store in an attribute, say current user. We'll store the actual user. Now, more commonly, we would fetch this user from the database, right? We would check, verify that the username is not taken, right? That the password is strong password, blah blah blah. Do all that, and if it's okay, then we insert it into a database, right? And then that user we put them in the current user. Maybe we come up with an identifier, set ID, maybe 123, right? Probably this is created in the database, not here, and then we return that user, but it's now stored in the current user. Once we do that, the profile, when the profile navigates, right? The only way that the profile might know who's the current user is to come back here to the server and say, hey, who's currently logged in? So what we're going to do is that we're going to add here a get mapping that is going to fetch the current user. And this might be, if no one's logged in, then this will come back as null. There is no current user. But if there is somebody logged in, then it should return me the user that was registered, right? So let's do that. We're going to say public user current user function, right? And it's going to get it from the session. So it's going to ask for the session. So session. Ideally, this session is the same exact session as over here, even if it's misspelled. It'll be the same session, meaning it's keyed off of the same cookie, right? If you come with me with the same cookie, you'll get the same session, right? If you come with me with another cookie, then you have a different session. So we got to make sure that the client, is always sending the same cookie. All right. So once we have that, ideally the user will be stored in there. So we're going to retrieve it. We're going to say session. We're going to do a get attribute and current user. So that current user is going to come back as a plain object. We need to cast it to the original object that we put in there, and then finally we're going to return it. Right? Again, this might return as null if nobody's logged in, or if somebody is logged in, hopefully it'll be the same user that we put in there earlier. So let's restart the server. Okay, notice that we are in the profile page. I'm going to refresh. what we're going to do is that in our profile page, we're going to try and hit this current user. So let's do that in the next screen, the next recording.